Today I want to show you how you can take a look how to interpret and understand relationships, whether romantic or business ones, and how it can give you a new, fresh perspective and understand each other, and most importantly, yourself better. So, let's start by taking a look on two people here. And when you are in when our two people are in healthy relationships, they feel like equals. And in math, it would be equal sign. So person A and person B, they're equal. So when the relationship is not healthy, then person A might feel like lower than person B, or they can also put the person B on pedestal. They feel like not worthy. They feel like less than person B, or other way around. Person A might feel more important, more worthy, more successful than person B, and they kind of put themselves on pedestal and they see a person B as someone lower than themselves. So A is greater than B. Simple math equations. And let's return to the healthy relationships and see how it works in the different aspects of relationships. So let's say person A is giving, is a nice loving giving, and let me start with the fact that even though we consciously don't do it, subconsciously, unconsciously, we still keep a relationship score between each other to know if we're on equal grounding. If someone gives 1 plus 1, we expect to have equal receive 2 back. And it doesn't matter how you receive, it could be 2, could be 1 plus 1. As long as there's equal sign in the middle, the both sides of the equation must be equal if the equation feels equal, if the relationship feels equal. And I already have some things I want to show you afterwards, but basically this equal sign in between is the sign of the feeling. How does the relationship feel? If it's equal, then the most sides must be equal. And in case you are giving more than other person, so you have given one other person, then you give another one. However, your partner B is giving just one. That means relationship is not equal anymore. It changes to greater. However, if the relationship in general is healthy, then short-term disbalance, person B will feel lower, so they will want to invest into the relationship. So they will want to give more automatically. So they might want to equal out. So they add into relationship, into the balance of relationship, and it becomes equal again. And because person B is quite generous, at some point they might want to add 2 more just to invest in the relationship because they really love person A and they really want to invest into the relationship, so it comes out of the balance again. And now it becomes greater. And the person A feels that. Person feels that they get out of the balance and they might want to change the balance and they invest 2 more and adds to 4 and they put 1 more just to be ahead of the game, so they don't have to kind of like once you start doing things it's easy to continue, so you give 1 extra and the relationship changes to being greater in favor of A, and this is how it continues and until in the long term relationships come back to equal. So one thing is that it doesn't have to be the same thing on the same sides. It can be different numbers. The most important thing is that how the relationship feels. Does it feel equal? Does it feel uh, towards one side more? And short-term disbalance is okay. That's always normal. But in long-term, people in healthy relationships, they want to feel equals. They want to be on equal grounding, and they will want to compensate in one way or another. And in order and how we evaluate. The thing is that we people evaluate different acts of kindness, of love, of appreciation in different ways. And therefore I want to bring your attention this really amazing model of 5 love languages. Different people evaluate different ways of expression in different values. So words of affirmation, acts of service, quality of time, touch, and gifts. So each of us have more value towards gifts or quality time and less value to some other stuff. So depending how you perceive the act of love, let's say, you will put different value to each of these. So let's say person B is giving five of gifts. Let's say person B gives 5 gifts, but person A doesn't value 5 gifts as 5 gifts. It actually is not that important to receive gifts. So it has this multiplier of 0.5. So the value of gift is not that much. But the person B is also giving words of affirmation with the gift. But person A is really loving words of affirmation. So 2 words of affirmation, which is less than gifts, they value twice as much. So in end, you have 2.5 plus 4, so it's 6.5. And on this side, there's less. So it's 5. And so in this case, this model shows that even the same thing, and it goes the other way around. If the person B perceives the acts of A as 1 times 4 plus 1, and yeah, everything goes into multipliers. So that's the main idea I want to give you, that if I perceive that my act of kindness is value 1, doesn't mean that person B will perceive it as 1. It might be less or might be more than that. So every act I'm doing, other person is evaluating it. And he decides automatically or consciously, mostly automatically, what kind of multipliers get attached to each of the acts. And yeah, and that's how it explains why person A could give 4 gifts and 1 word of affirmation and have less than person giving 5 gifts and 2 words of affirmation, or other way around. If the person B perceives it as really important to have receiving gifts, then actually it's, yeah, then you get balanced the other way around. So yeah, this is what I wanted to show you, that in terms of relationships, they're really logical, really cause and effect, and really simple. You just take a couple of simple models, simplify, break things down, and keep on score. And I know some people say that relationships in a true love, you don't really keep a score, but our brain is not built like that. It's actually keeping a score. It's just that the brain is a bit more open. If you don't keep score only in, let's say, financial, or only in um, being kind to each other. No, the score is kept all over completely, from every act you do, from waking up to the end of the day, every interaction you have or lack of interaction. If you really love quality time, so you're lacking that quality time, so you get minus. And one more thing I wanted to show here is that when you are giving and giving, so let's talk about dysfunctional relationships, because so far we're talking about healthy functional relationships where everyone tries to get equilibrium. However, when you go to dysfunctional relationships, it always tries to go out of balance and stays out of balance. So if one person is giving, 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 and other person is not giving, it goes quickly out of balance and it stays out of balance. And these kind of relationships are not happily sustainable. People might stay there for a really long time and really suffer in those because they're out of balance, especially if the person A is expecting receive the same value as he's giving and he's not receiving anything. And even though it could be represented as 5 is more than 0 because person B is not giving, it could be also interpreted in other way. So let's say the person A is giving 5, but it feels like it's receiving 0. So instead of being greater than 0, he just feels like receiving 0. But this equation is not true yet. So in order to make this equation true, we have to have 5 minus 5, or minus 2, minus 3. So what happens here? The person A is giving, but the person B is taking. So it goes, because the person A doesn't have a clear boundaries, what is acceptable, what is not, he's letting the person in on his side and allows him to take from him. So instead of giving or receiving, person B is just taking it. And therefore, the person A is feeling like there's zero, there's nothing there. And actually, sometimes person A might feel like he's being robbed, and it might feel like it's minus 2, so it's 5, minus 2, minus 3, minus 2. So at some points in dysfunctional relationships, it might feel like it's actually less than 0, so it feels like someone's robbing you. And the sad news is that actually person A is allowing this thing to happen in most cases. There are some cases when it's not the case, but most of the time it's unconscious or conscious choice of allowing someone to get too close to you and let you rob. So you feel like you're losing things, which is the case. Because person B is really happy to take, and person A is really happy to give, but not happy that's not being given back. So yeah, this is how to see the same situation of person A giving. It might feel in different ways. Person A might feel bigger than person A. Person A might feel bigger than person B because he's giving more. So he's on pedestal and look how great I am. So it would be greater sign. But at the same time, person A might be giving, and feel less than person B. And in this case, we could also say it like this. But then I have to go. Oh. So let's say it like this. So this is minus 2, this is 1. So person, even though the person A is giving, also person B is giving 1, but person B is also taking something. So in this case, person A can still feel less, even though he's giving more, he still feels less in relationship. And as we just had it before, person might feel like 0, like flatline. So that's really interesting way to look at the relationships, and it's a lot actually to do with perception, because I might be giving and the person B could be receiving. So it feels to me that it's equal. It's person B is receiving, but it also could be that person B is taking. So it's up to you to decide, how do you perceive it, as taking or receiving. It's a small shift in the word, but how you feel will make you different. So these kind of things, small hacks, mindset tricks, these are things I'm really happy and passionate about. And let me know if you're interested in hearing something more about these kind of logical tips, tricks. This is kind of my first time when I think try to think these kind of models up. And just experiment. If you like these kind of videos, let me know. Otherwise, as always, smile, be present, have a magical day in front of you, and see you on the next one. Subscribe if you like to have more videos.